Welcome back, one and all, to Denny Thinks He Knows, a sports talk show hosted by me, Denny Glasser. Episode 23, the Michael Jordan of all shows. You know it's going to be amazing. We have Rachel Bonnetta in talking NFL, NBA. We have Mitchell Mack talking NBA, our NBA correspondent, of course. This show is going to be amazing. I'm so excited. Without any further ado, we hope you all had a great week. We're jumping on into it. First up, and in first up, we have Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, I got to acknowledge right now, man, the Oakland Athletics. They are just tearing it up right now, guys. 11th straight win for them. Guys, these guys are soaring at a whole new level. I'm so pumped up for them. Just even taking a peek at the standings, they jumped all the way to the lead. They're 12-7. They jumped over the Mariners. This is going to be great, guys. I love these type of stories to follow them throughout the season. You see a team that starts out, very slow, and in the same month they're already jumping out as the lead dog in that division. Pretty incredible. Pretty incredible. Some unfortunate news right now. Dinelson Lamet for the San Diego Padres is out with a right forearm tightness in his right forearm. Really unfortunate, guys. The Padres are doing everything they can to keep up with the Dodgers in that West Division. And they have all the pieces. It's just really unfortunate right now. They seem to have been snagged with some injuries, and I really hope that fate kind of turns around for them. I hope Lamet's all right. That rotation, man. I mean, even they traded for Mike Clevenger from my Cleveland Indians last year, and he's out all year with Tommy John. So it's like I really hope that this team can stay healthy, because it's going to be so much fun to see them go up against the Dodgers all year and see if they can rip that crown away from LA. We'll see. Time will tell. Speaking of some teams that are coming in really hot, though, we have, of course, and I'll acknowledge again, the Oakland A's at 12-7. Pretty incredible. We also have the Dodgers. Speaking of the Dodgers, at 14-4. We're highlighting them, guys. Some pretty great stuff right now for both of those squads, and excited to see, where, of course, their seasons take them. With that being said, too, we got the Red Sox we picked last week. They're 12-6, so that's pretty good. They're holding their own. I think they went like 3-3 this past week. That's nothing to hold your head down low on. They're actually in first place, so they should be pretty pumped up. And we had the Giants last week. They were already cruising pretty well. They're 11-7, right behind the Dodgers. So there you have it, guys. Highlights from last week are still holding their own. Alrighty, guys, that just about wraps up the baseballs portion of First Up. I am so pumped up for this next segment, guys. Two amazing friends of mine. We have Rachel Bonnetta right now, from host of Fox Bet Live on FS1. Mitchell Mack is back.
Exactly what I said I didn't want to happen just happened in my intro. I have a dog. I have a dog has entered the podcast space. Okay, continue the intro. I will kick her out.
Running rogue. Rogue One. Oh my goodness. Well, we're super pumped up right now. We're talking all things basketball today, sliding some football in here. Rachel, Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Woo-hoo! Thanks for having me, Denny. I'm so excited to see your face. It's been way too long. We did improv class together at Groundlings, maybe my most enjoyable class that I've had there, and you were a very funny human. You made me laugh a lot, so I'm happy to be here.
Thank you, Rachel. You did the same. You made me laugh so many times. We had some fun moments.
Can I tell a really quick story before we
Please. Yeah.
Started? So Denny and I were doing a class during football season. So we would always have our class started at 7, 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
So I would always try to be, if it was like a Thursday night class, Thursday night football is happening, I would always try to put myself in the very back of the class, because I'm watching that last quarter on my phone in improv class. Like I'm not getting up. I'm literally just sitting back. I'm so sorry to all my classmates. Denny, I always watched you. But I always had to watch the last quarter because that always crossed over to our class. If I remember correctly, you're a Steelers fan, right, Denny?
Yeah.
We had Steelers-Browns while we were in that class, I'm a huge Cleveland Browns fan. It was the night that Mason Rudolph got clocked by Myles
Yeah.
Garrett with his helmet. I'm in the back
Dude.
row of our improv class watching this unfold. Denny's got like some stupid Steelers sweater on in front of me, and I was just like, oh my God, if he only knew what was happening right now. It was insane.
Oh yeah, I was just coming off of like, fun improv scene, thinking life is
Yeah, you were like
dandy.
pretending to be a dog. You were like, my Steelers are probably winning right now. Meanwhile,
Rachel,
your
you're like,
quarterback's getting knocked out.
I hate Denny so much right now. And
Yeah.
you gotta keep in mind, like, you two are probably the only people in the history of Groundlings who've ever watched a football game. And the fact that you're like watching it into
You know what? You'd be
the
surprised. You'd
class.
be surprised. There was a lot of sports fans. I feel like I've come across quite a few football fans, and then it's all people trying to be like comedians, and then it's always so embarrassing. You have to like go up and introduce yourself, and I'm like, I work in sports and I'm on TV, and people are like, what? You're in the studio? Like all these people are trying to do, perform in some way. So
Oh yeah.
kind of funny, but lots of sports fans, I would say.
That's true. Improv brings everybody together. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I love improv. Do you miss it? I don't
do.
really.
I do. I've been doing stand-up in the meantime, but there's nothing like that, like walking a tightrope, and having that live audience just like, these guys are literally making this up on the spot. I miss that aspect.
I miss it too in some ways. I feel like for me, I do love when I'm there, but it's getting there and it's the anticipation. Like, my day to day, I read a teleprompter. There is like a bit of improv on our show, but it's not, you're not being characters. It's just like being quick on your feet. That's always been super helpful to me. But just I would go from having a full face of makeup and like reading the teleprompter and being professional to like, okay, in 2 hours, I am going to be pretending to be a whale and rolling around on stage. Just like that mental shift. I was just like, oh Christ, what am I getting myself into?
And it's fun to like look back on the day too, just like, man, 2 hours ago I was in a very like, business like setting, and now here I am as a whale.
Yeah. Or murdering somebody with a chainsaw. Yeah. No, I do miss aspects of it. I need to get back in there.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like it. So fingers crossed we keep moving forward. Be able to do that soon.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, hey, we're able to see each other right now. That's the best part. This is the silver lining.
Yeah, Zoom is being great. I do have a little bit of Zoom fatigue. I did a hit this morning for TV, and we were talking about like Oscars, whatever. So I wore this like really beautiful gown, and I was still in my slippers and my pajama pants. So, I'm ready to get back to just being like a full human and not just like upper half human.
Not 50% from the waist up.
Yeah.
There is zero effort beyond this shirt right now.
And even now I'm just wearing a t-shirt, but yeah, no. I'm glad things are going back to normal.
Amen to that. Well, we got sports. We sports. It's keeping us together as well.
Yeah, baby.
Rachel, you are a Toronto Raptors fan.
I am.
They're sitting 25-34, 11th place right now. What do you think? What's your thoughts right now?
This year's been a little painful. It's been a little painful. We lost my guy Norm. We almost lost my dearly beloved Kyle Lowry. Thank God that he stayed. But oh my gosh, it's really been a roller coaster. We're not even playing in Toronto, which is like one of my all-time favorite things to do when I get to go home is go to a Raptors game. It's been tough. I mean, I feel like we've had so many swings up and down. Like we were really bad at the beginning of the season, and then there was a moment where we kind of started coming, and then we were really bad again. And then there's, now we won 4 in a row. We beat a depleted Nets the other day, which is exciting. But I don't know. Part of me is like, and I don't know if you guys belong to a winning team, but I do. We won a chip. We won the Larry OB a few years ago. Part of me is like, I'm good for a minute, like I don't know if that's like so anti-sports fan, but like
it makes sense.
I'm okay if we have a bad season here and there. It was like the long stretch. Like I could never be a Knicks fan. Like well now it's exciting, but I'm kind of okay if we have a few rebuilding years. We've got a new exciting guy now. And so I'm okay right now.
I
I am
respect that.
hopeful. You know, playoffs, anything can freaking happen in the playoffs. Maybe we slide in there in that last spot, but I'm okay.
Either way, I mean, I'm still hanging my hat on the Steelers winning a championship in 08. I'm like, it's still gravy.
You should move on from that. Yeah.
So Rachel's point of view is cool, but Denny, get a life, man. Like,
Yeah,
grow
Denny, that's been too long.
up.
Well, I won't talk about the
You guys
70s.
were so, I can't wait to talk about Steelers and football. You guys were so close last year, and we kicked the poop out of you. Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah, it's
we
okay.
kicked the shit out of you guys. It was phenomenal. Anyways,
Yeah,
basketball.
that hurt. But yeah, back real quickly, back to basketball. I just put a toe in the NFL and I'm already back.
Yeah.
Let's see here. So, of course, the playoff picture looks a little different than years past. Mitchell and I talked about this a week or so ago. How do you like this playoff picture? How do you like this idea of fighting for that,
The play-in spots?
Yeah, those play-in spots.
I think I'm fine with it. I'm actually really cool with new people showing up. Like, I love the chaos of the Knicks being involved in the playoffs this year. That's so fun.
Yeah.
You know, the Suns, the Jazz, these are all teams that I feel like were kind of creeping up these last few years, and now they're like killing it. So I'm all for, I'm just all for a little bit of mixing up. I feel like the NBA season can be very, very long, and that's coming from a basketball fan.
Yeah.
And so, a little chaos in the playoffs that make it extra, extra exciting. I'm not opposed to that at all.
I like it. We were talking about that. I mean, it's the idea of like whoever pitched that idea, it was a little confusing perhaps, but the overall, the idea of, throwing a little hot sauce on something that's been a little plain for a while. I like it.
Yeah, and I feel like, just like you said, you see the same big teams. You see the Lakers, you see the Clippers, you see the Bucks, you see the, I don't even know where the Celtics are. Hopefully, I wish they were in last place. I hate the Celtics, but it's kind of cool to see. It's the same. You know what? It's the same as like the NCAA tournament. Just like, how fun is it? I became a UCLA Bruins fan this year just because of the chaos of that all, and having something like that happen for the NBA, I think is really exciting.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely think so, because pretty much every year, you can pick like, okay, the Lakers are going to make the finals.
Yeah,
whoever, the Heat, LeBron James, whatever team he's on. And so I like this idea of this uncertainty in the first round of like play in, one game, you can take it, you can lose. Like, I find that really exciting as someone who's watched the NBA for, like 10 years or so. It's like kind of predictable at times.
One of the most exciting storylines I felt like last year in the playoffs was how great the Nuggets were. And no one, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, no one really saw that coming. And so, more chaos, I love.
Oh, in like the fact that they came down from 2-3-1 series and they were like, hey, you know what? We got this. Jamal Murray, you can score like 50 points tonight, right? Okay, perfect. It was amazing.
I'm so bummed that guy's out right now. Such a bummer. Anyways.
Definitely. No, I love that aspect. Even though my Cleveland Cavaliers have been sitting on the outside. I'm back in Cleveland.
They're still in the NBA.
Somehow.
Waiting for that number one.
Apart.
We need that number one pick again. That's what it boils
Whatever.
down
You guys have enough rings right now.
Okay, and also, can we talk about how the Cavs have had like 20 number one picks? It seems like every other year they have a number one pick. If you look back, they at least have 5 over the past like 12 years. It's like, how does this keep happening? And you stay.
Are you actually a Cavs fan, Denny?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. He loves.
You had your moment. I feel like you guys had enough moments to last you for like a good while.
We're hungry for more. We were spoiled.
Shut up.
It was. I mean, it was cool. It must have been cool. Like, Cavs fan had him come back, right? Like, he rejected you, and then he was like, "Hey, I'm here for you again, Denny." Like, did that feel good for you, Denny?
For like 2 minutes.
Watching LeBron come back.
But like, I'm sticking up for everyone in Northeast Ohio. They got 2 months of summertime. That's all they have to look forward to. Come on.
They need a LeBron.
They
need
live
a
in
LeBron in their
Cleveland.
life.
Yes. But speaking of championships, in 2019, I remember right where I was. I was right next to Groundlings. I was in class. We took a break. We were over at the dark room watching from outside on the sidewalk. I was trying to throw as much positive vibes as possible to the Raptors. They pulled it off. We flipped out in the street.
Oh man.
I want to know, where were you when that happened?
Well, I was there. Your girl followed the Raptors in that series with the Warriors. Can I just tell you, game 1 was in Toronto, and I was just like, no matter what happens, I need to be at game 1 because like game 3, game 4 could be a complete bummer for us. Like I didn't really have a lot of faith that they were going to make it out of that. I didn't even have faith that they were going to beat the Bucks. But anyway, so game 1, I get to go to Toronto. We had like all of these like I just like begged my bosses. I was like, any strings you can pull, like please just like let me have a pass somewhere. And they like totally hooked us up, and it was so cool. And I used to like work in this building, so it was very full circle to me as well.
Nice.
Which was really neat. And we won game 1 against the Warriors, and the city went apeshit. The streets were shut down. People were swinging off of like light poles. Oh my God. The bars were open until like 3 or 4 in the morning. It was
insane.
So much fun. I did not feel good the next day. Miraculously, I had time off to go and do this and not have to work, but it was a blast. That was game 1, and then I got to go to game 6, which we won in Oakland. I'll tell you, winning a championship is not that fun in another city. Because I was with my girlfriend who's also from Toronto, and we're like, let's rage, let's go drink, like, oh my God, let's party. We show up to a bar, and everyone's upset. Everyone's upset because they're Warriors fans, and they were like, we suck. What's going on? Katie, like so many injuries happened. Everyone's just like, whatever, you just won from an asterisk, me. But yeah, so that was kind of a bummer. That's why I always want to tell the story about game 1, because that was truly one of, not even saying this, that was one of the best nights of my life. Like I will tell my kids about that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the actual city and they pop that, first bubble of, a championship like that.
Nothing better. Yeah.
Yeah, the energy's popping. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And you got to think about how, Toronto is like, they're the only team in Canada. It's not just Toronto. It's like all of the nation is supporting this one team.
Well, it's not even that. We were like the first team in all sports. I mean, besides soccer, but not a lot of people are huge soccer fans. We were the first like major team to win a championship in a very long time. Like the Leafs haven't been good. The Blue Jays hadn't been good in a really kind of not very good in a while. And so just like having a team win, like it just meant so much to so many people. And, people in Toronto are very like prideful of like where we come from and our sports, and everyone's always picking on us, calling us the losers. That's why our parade was what it was, is because we were just so over the top excited. I was like in my dressing room crying watching the parade. It was a mess.
Well,
beautiful moment.
Yeah.
We were freaking out on that sidewalk. I think it was safe to say there was no Golden State Warrior fans around us, and so they were not enjoying this little improv group that was just like high-fiving each other.
I love that. No, it was amazing. It was really cool.
That's awesome. And, the guy that pulled it off, at least I like to give a lot of credit, Kawhi Leonard. He's my MVP for this season. Mitchell's been giving me flack. He's been giving me flack all season long about this. Yes.
Wow. Okay. Is this your segue to me asking who my pick is?
Yes. Mitchell Mack may be frozen right now.
Oh, at least he looks like he's having fun. Like his frozen face is like, he's like, I'm happy to be here. My pick for MVP has got to be, it's obviously the Joker, Nikola Jokic from the Nuggets. He's playing out of his mind. His right-hand man, Jamal Murray, went down with a really bad ACL injury. He's probably going to be out for a really long time, if not the full season.
Yeah.
He's completely just steadied, if not, picked up the slack for that guy. So, like, obviously it's him. He's the big favorite to win MVP. But, Denny, I love the chaos of a Steph Curry. I love the chaos of a Steph Curry losing his mind. The man has dropped so many points. I mean, minus the other night when he only scored 4 in the first half. The man is playing out of his mind. He is beating NBA records. It's just so much fun to see. If he plays out the season like this and, puts up like 40 plus a game, I don't hate it. I really don't hate that. Especially like he's had a rough few years with injuries and, his team has not been like the Warriors that we all know and love because the Raptors ended them. Um,
For
I
good.
really like this storyline. I know Warriors are kind of like right there in the middle right now in the playoff picture, but yeah, I don't hate it. Steph Curry's a really fun bet.
Oh, I like that. I like that more now than I would have in years past. I think the fact that he's been kind of putting it on his shoulders recently, I give a little bit more respect. You don't got Katie hanging around. The Splash
Exactly.
Brothers isn't there. So it's
Yeah.
like I like it a lot more than
Yeah,
what I would have.
and I do feel like he's struggled the past few years, or at least his team has, and like I think that he's like dealt with some injury issues, and so just that he's coming. Steph Curry makes basketball more fun. Watching him play basketball when he is doing really well, he makes the sport more fun. So I'm totally, media members vote on this kind of stuff, so like they're looking for those storylines. Jokic carrying his team, great storyline. Steph Curry playing the greatest basketball he's ever played, also great storyline.
No, definitely. I can't agree anymore with you. And it's like you said, the chaos. It makes it so much more fun.
Totally. Yeah, absolutely.
Love that. Well, when Mitchell Mack's able to rejoin us, he has some fun MVP talk. He's been picking on me with the Kawhi Leonard stuff, so I couldn't wait to tell you that.
I love Kawhi. Kawhi's got a soft spot in my heart. Everyone thought that we were going to be upset at him leaving, but he won us a trophy that we wouldn't have otherwise won. So, I hope that they go far and they really crapped the bed last year. So I hope that they come up big this year and can do some damage.
Definitely. He reminds me of that Mack truck. It just takes a while to get going, but once he's there,
there you go.
it may take 80% of the season to get that MVP
he needs
talk.
he needs to pull off and get tuned up every now and again. But once he's going, he's good.
Quick little tune-up, that's all.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, we'll transition over to the NFL. Your Browns have been making
Let's go, baby.
moves. I mean, just to name a few: Jadeveon Clowney, John Johnson III, Malik Jackson, Troy Hill. The list goes on.
Yeah.
What a lot of defense right now, but
that's exactly what I was hoping that we were. Well, I mean, it's just obviously what we needed to do. We had Myles Garrett last year, who was like just working overtime.
Yeah.
But no, I'm genuinely, Denny, so excited for this season. We get OBJ back. I am praying that he is not going to be cancerous to this team and he's just going to be a part of the group because he's on a winning, decent team now.
That's true.
I feel like every bad thing that people have had to say about Baker, that he's like not in the game, he's like smashing beers at baseball games. He doesn't do that shit anymore. He's grown up. He was in a sophomore slump this past year. The last 6 games of the season, if you look at his stats, he was, up there with the best of them. So I feel like, because we got into the playoffs last year, we have that under our belt. Baker had that taste. The Browns had that taste of a winning season. Kevin Stefanski, my hero. I'm like legitimately excited for what could come. Seriously.
I do mean this when I say this. I'm happy for Cleveland.
Liar.
No, when the Bengals came after us years ago, it just felt so malicious. The Ravens, it's a storied rivalry that's up there with like the Yankees and Red Sox.
Yeah.
Lakers and Celtics. But when you look at like the Browns, they've said there's a rivalry with Pittsburgh. It's not really it has not existed in a very long time. The fact that you guys knocked us out of the playoffs was like 20 plus years of like pent up energy.
Yes, absolutely. I feel like that game, I was so nervous for that game going into it because you guys had started, correct me if I'm wrong, my memory is always terrible. You guys had kind of started to teeter off. You had a really strong, what did you go, like 11-0 or something like that? You would begin to come into the downfall. And then that first, what was it, the first snap that Ben took, went over his head. And I was just like, oh, this game's going to be crazy. And it was. And
it just set the tone.
I just was screaming my head off. That and the Cowboys game this past season against the Browns, which just was the most fun football. And I fell even deeper in love with football when that happened. But yeah, that was a fun game. And you guys started to come back at the end. Like it was a chaotic
We
moment.
weren't laying down easy.
No.
No.
You should have, because it was embarrassing, but you didn't.
We started the season 11-0, and there was just multiple things that weren't clicking. Injuries, for example, just started to take the wheels right off that train. But then when we lost that last regular season game to the Browns, I was like, good. I'm like, I'm loving this. I'm like, I would love to have a chance to play against the Browns in the first round. And well, you know what? Ask and you shall receive. So
how do you feel? Ben's coming back this year, right? How do you feel about that?
I'm feeling really good. I'm one of the very few that actually thinks, had he not banged his knees up against the Cowboys, he wouldn't have lost velocity on his ball, and he may have been able to have a better second half performance. But
yeah, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy how you guys started, and it's crazy how you guys finished. I can imagine that's pretty disappointing for a Steelers fan. I don't care, but I can imagine that's pretty disappointing.
You know, I as a guy who knows nothing about football, my dad is a huge Steelers fan. So I've had the Steelers in my life for a long time. How long can Ben Roethlisberger play football for? You know, he's got to retire at some point, right?
I think he should have stopped after. And I'm not even just saying this to be a dick. I really think that he should have stopped. Like, he's a big boy. He's getting older. He got hurt. Like, he's getting hurt. I think he should have called it quits.
He just needs that Tom Brady juice or vitamins or whatever, because he's turning like what, 62 next year, I think.
He's 63.
I just feel like Big Ben just gets bigger and fatter every year, and he just retire already. You know, I'm over it.
I can't say the same.
That's Denny's true love.
Fire. You know, there's that like iconic shot of Big Ben sitting on the I think it was actually after the Browns, sitting on the bench crying after that game.
Hard to call it iconic, but you know what? It didn't happen.
No, iconic. Sorry, iconic for me. It was my screensaver for about 2 weeks.
Oh my goodness! Well, you know what? Hey, we'll transition off of the Steelers talk. Rachel, any exciting news in the offseason that has you pumped up? Fantasy speaking, just in general, any moves?
I'm excited for this draft. I'm excited for the draft next week. I don't know when this pod is coming out, but I'm excited to see what happens in those first few moves. I'm convinced that Justin Fields is going to the 49ers. I think that Kyle Shanahan wants to light a little fire under Jimmy G's butt. He's literally said that. I know a lot of people think Mac Jones is going there, but I think that could be fun. And I'm excited. You know, last year, you know what I'm excited for? I'm excited to see how they do the draft, because I don't know about you guys, but last year I kind of loved that it was all virtual. We got to see everybody's home setup. We got to see their families. I hope, I'm sure that it's in person this year, but I kind of hope that they have is it in person?
It's in Cleveland.
Yeah, I would think so.
I should know that. I kind of hope that they somehow incorporate that, like, at home with family. I know we see some guys do that, but I just really loved that.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
I'd like that. It's always great to see dreams come true on live TV like that.
Absolutely. And when they're surrounded by, you know, it's one thing when they're like in this, you know, big arena and they probably have their parents next to them, but like to have, you know, their cousins and their aunts and their uncles, and they're in the living room of the home that they grew up in. Like, you know, I just have this image of Joe Burrow. Remember when he got called up and he's like sitting in this living room of clearly a childhood home, and it's like, you're about to go make millions and millions of dollars. Like, it was just kind of a cool moment. I liked it.
Definitely. No, I'm looking forward to it. It just has like that holiday kind of feel to it. It's special.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. Well, welcome back again, Mitchell Mack. We were talking MVP talk when your internet went out, but
I know,
Mitch,
man.
don't worry, you froze in like a really cool way. Like your
I bet I froze like a dumbass, didn't I?
No, your face looked like you were at Disneyland. You were really happy.
Oh, that's good. Okay, I'll take that. I'll take Disneyland.
We talked about Kawhi Leonard being my pick.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's absolutely. He's played like 4 games.
I can't get behind that.
No. So wait, Rachel, who did you pick for MVP?
So I
The
said,
MVP?
yeah, I would be so happy with Jokic. I love the
Mhm.
Joker. I think he's really stepped up now that Jamal is gone, and I'm sure he's going to continue to step up the rest of the season. I love a little Steph Curry chaos. I
Yeah.
love a little Steph Curry chaos. I know that, he had a couple of crazy games in a row. He had a little bit of a drop off the other night, but maybe the guy's just tired. He's on like a road trip. I hope that we see
Yeah.
another, like some more 40 plus games, and then I could absolutely get behind him for MVP.
Yeah, wait, and the thing I've been saying this whole time is like at first, in my opinion, it was LeBron James, and then he got
Sure,
injured,
obviously.
and
Yeah.
and then I was like, okay, well, it's Joel Embiid, and then Joel Embiid got injured, and
Hmm.
I was like, okay, and then I'm like Jokic, but his team's like fourth, and so I'm like, oh, I could see it, and now Steph, like you've been saying, like I think the past 11 games he's had 30 points every game,
Yeah.
and
More.
he's been killing
Yeah.
it. So
Crazy.
for me, this MVP race is definitely one of the most fun and interesting I've seen in a long time because
Yeah.
it's
I
not
mean,
Giannis because he had it for the
yeah.
past 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I feel like it could be, and I feel like it will probably be Jokic, but it could be anyone, I feel like.
I just feel like I was telling Jenny this, the guys that vote on, or the guys and girls that vote on this award are all media members. So,
Yeah.
we talk about this on our show often. The season is so long that, it's whatever's happening kind of towards the end of the season that's going to be like these guys like storylines.
Yeah.
Jokic stepping up for Jamal and like absolutely carrying his team. Great storyline. Steph Curry breaking like Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan records.
Right.
Hello. That's an MVP right there. So,
Yeah.
and Steph actually came out the other day, I believe, and said like I want that MVP this year. Like he
Yeah.
just came out and said it after those few crazy games that he had.
And it's funny, he said that and then he dropped that egg. He was like, yeah, I'm the MVP. And then he had like
And then
14
he
points.
put up 4 points in the first half.
Terrible shooting night.
Crazy, yeah.
So
But
there's a
it was
little
the
bit of
end of a road
karma.
trip, so maybe I hope that it like kicks back up.
Oh, well, because I've been talking about this for like ever since Kevin Durant left. I've been like, man, I can't wait for Steph Curry to go off. Because like
Yeah.
we all know his potential. And it's like he's gonna freaking explode. And he's always been good. But this is the first stretch where I've been like, this is what I've been like dreaming of with Steph Curry. Like 10 3-pointers a game, just like whatever,
Yeah.
killing it. I love it.
I pulled up a graphic the other day and I wish I could remember the numbers exactly, but it was basically threes made in the last 10 games. The all of the Magic had 63. All of the Wizards had 62. Steph Curry alone had more than
Mhm.
actual teams
Dang.
combined threes
Then
in the
franchises.
last 10 games. Like that's how insane he has been playing, like out of his
Yeah.
mind.
Incredible.
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I love it. I love it. Guys, so I have to upgrade to the new Zoom, to the upgraded
I
Zoom.
was gonna say.
I've been
got
checking out that timer. I'm like, how much longer do we have now?
Mitchell, I know you got some questions. If we can fit this in the 2-minute warning.
Let's do it. Rapid fire.
2-minute warning. Yeah, I'll just ask one question. So,
Yeah.
any team that you think in the playoffs will make noise that we don't expect?
Oh shit. I didn't know that there was a second half to that because I was gonna.
Or
no,
or
I
that
think
we
it works.
expect.
I think it works. I think it works. A team that's gonna make noise. I hate that I'm even saying this. The Knicks. I think the Knicks. They're
Mhm.
on like what, an 8-game winning streak right
Yeah.
now. My guy RJ Barrett, Canadian. I
See?
think that they could make some noise. And I hate it because I'm so used to the Knicks being absolutely atrocious. And I've got a couple of friends that are Knicks fans, and I feed off of their depressing time as a Knicks fan. But how fun would that be? Like this team has been so bad for so long. I remember the draft a few years ago, they were all so upset they didn't get Zion. Oh, it was just perfect. And now they're really coming together and they've won 8 in a row and they're fourth in the East?
Yeah, above the Hawks.
I don't know, guys. I think that it could be really fun.
I think they could
Go
take the
Knicks.
Hawks in the first round.
Yeah, I'm going Knicks.
Love the pure chaos.
I'm all for. I know it's the same thing over and over and over again, but as a sports fan, you could watch the. I don't know if you guys follow soccer at all, but that's why I hated the Super League. There's no chaos in there. It's the same guys playing. Cool. We'll see a couple of goals, but there's no Cinderella teams. There's no
Mhm.
fun. So
Yeah.
Love chaos.
And if we could get a buzzer beater, what's your NBA Finals prediction? Who's your champion this year?
I'm going Nets, Lakers, Lakers. Boring.
Hey, safe choice. Good choice.
I don't know. LeBron said that there was a thunderstorm coming. I don't know what that's supposed to mean, but I'm going to trust it. It's LeBron.
You trust it. You trust King James.
Yeah.
Well, thunderstorms are no joke in Ohio, so I trust that guy. He knows what a good one looks like. He doesn't know what one looks like in LA.
Well, yeah,
when do we ever get rain out here?
We were supposed to get it on Monday, so.
Actually, I think some's coming tonight. Funny enough.
This is fascinating to your
maybe
listeners.
a thunderstorm?
Oh my goodness, we got the buzzer beater in and Zoom knocked us off.
Should be unlimited timing on Zoom. I don't care.
You know, if Zoom was to be around forever, I don't mind upgrading, but if I upgrade, I don't know. I don't want like June 15th to come around and all of LA opens up and I'm like, what am I doing with this?
What am I ever going to use Zoom for ever again? That's
Exactly.
an interesting question, is when things go back to normal, will we ever use Zoom?
No.
I think yes. I think yes. I think yes. I think that there's going to be a lot of times where people are too busy to like take meetings, and I mean, it makes my life easier going from, I've had, like having generals, and, it's instead of jumping around to LA, you just get to like be here. And I think I'm used to it now. I think it stays. Upgrade it, Denny. Do it.
Okay. Well, you know
Zoom
what?
for the long haul.
Yeah.
Right after we get off, I'm putting that credit card number in.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Well, Rachel, we can't thank you enough. Absolutely loved having you on, talking some basketball, football with us.
You killed it.
Thanks for having me, guys. Denny, you have to have me on when NFL starts, because I'm down for an all football chat.
Let's do it. I think
Once
that's what the
things get
people
closer.
want.
That's what the people want. I know it's basketball season. I'm a big basketball fan, but I'll tell one quick story and then we'll go.
Go for it.
I didn't really watch football growing up. I'm Canadian, like I mentioned. Like, we watch hockey. We don't even watch like CFL in our house. And so I didn't really watch football. And then I started working for Fox, and they were always kind of like, I really only covered soccer. And they always kind of like, why don't you start watching football? Like, just get yourself involved, and, that way you'll be able to do more here. And I was just like, okay. And then I just never really did, because I'm lazy. And then I got this job, this show that I work on now, Fox Bet Live, and it's sports gambling. And like, really all we talk about is football. Even in basketball season, we tend to talk about football, the draft, all that stuff. And so they're like, you have to watch football now. And I was just like, okay, no problem. That was the year that the Browns were on Hard Knocks. And I just like absolutely fell deep in love with this terrible team that hadn't won in so long. Hugh Jackson was our coach. Baker Mayfield was our new quarterback. And ever since that moment, every single season, I've just fallen deeper and deeper. And this past year, we've had a winning season. I'm just like so obsessed with it now. And it's so fun to, as adults, you don't really start things like this. You know what I mean? You don't like fall into a new fandom. And so I've just been, it's just been really fun to just fall in love with the sport that people have been loving for a really long time. Now I'm like, I get it. I get it now. I get it.
I respect that. I love that story. I think you're the good luck charm, because there was a very long time before you started watching them that. Yeah.
A lot of people like to say I'm not a true fan because I didn't live through all the bullshit, but I have learned about the bullshit, so I feel like I can, like, I know I'm not just, starting.
You went through like
in the winning side, but
you went through like a
we
7
had two really bad seasons.
Yeah.
We had two.
I mean, one bad season with the Browns is like 4 bad seasons with any other franchise.
There you
it's
go.
a lot.
Yeah. We had 2 bad seasons. Last year was our first good season, and I hope this year is very good too. I'm so excited.
Well, I would love to have you back on. We would be talking football, I think, the entire time. Well, it'll just take over.
Mitch would get a little bored, I think.
You know what? I'll learn some stuff maybe. I'll be like,
that's why he froze. Is because we started talking about Steelers there for a second. I think that's why he's
That's right.
I'll come back in 5. This should be over. Yeah.
If we see that again, Mitchell, Once
Then
is a
you'll
fluke,
know.
twice is a pattern. Yeah. If we see this in September, then you freeze out.
You know, I'm trying to get into college football for my wife. She's a huge Alabama fan. Roll Tide.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying,
Yeah.
So I'll try for you guys a little bit more. Maybe
College
who
football
knows? Maybe a
seems
Chargers fan.
college football seems to be fun. I just feel like when I am in the thick of football season, I am on my couch all Sunday. Denny, I don't know about you if you only watch Steelers games, but I watch the full slate, like as many games as I possibly can. I cannot, like my brain, my mental health cannot give up my Saturday as well for all day of college football, you
I
know?
get
Like
that.
I
Yeah.
can't, I'm just so popular, guys. Like I'm so popular. I have so many friends that like always want to be on me. Like I can't, they'd be so upset. I just can't give away my Saturday.
I live a hard life, guys. It's so tough.
You know, it's just like people don't understand. It's just too hard.
Well, I can relate from a fantasy football standpoint because fantasy is a full-time job. And,
my boyfriend's obsessed
yeah.
with fantasy, and he's fully ruined it for me. That when I started my football fandom, I was just like, I'm gonna play fantasy. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And he had been a football fan when he was a kid, and now that I started watching, he really got into it and like got so obsessed with fantasy. Sometimes my AirPods will pick up his phone. He's always listening to an effing fantasy podcast, and I'm like, you've ruined this for me. We can't have conversations about anything else. And so I quit. I quit fantasy football because I just couldn't handle it anymore. It was too much.
Hey,
It was
good for
affecting my
you.
relationship. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, but
it's
if
a full-time job. It's
It-
literally always all year round. And I'm like, how?
if you have a moment, if you don't mind asking him if he would take Derrick Henry first overall,
He's in a dynasty which lasts like years and years and years.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
I have not, but I know about it.
Mm.
I like
I don't have the
I like
time.
starting fresh every year.
Same. Yeah. I would feel the same way if I played, which I don't because I hate it now. So
The only thing that remains is my team name, Little Stinky. Year in and year out, you know Little Stinky's coming to play.
oh boy.
Little Stinky is his own dynasty right
And-
there.
LIL?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Lil.
Of course.
Little
Lil.
Stinky. That's a
I
great way
think
to
little,
wrap it up.
little with
Yeah.
T's doesn't exist anymore.
On that note, I'm leaving.
Rachel, thank you
Leave the
again.
link now.
All righty, guys. That just about wraps up. First up, what an amazing time with Rachel Bonnetta. Mitchell
Oh, man.
Mack. This
She
was
had a
such
lot of good
treat.
things. A lot of good things to say, man. It was just like a fountain of wisdom.
Oh my goodness, yeah. I mean, such a great time. And well, you know that just about wraps up first up. So you know what that means.
Oh, I think I do know what that means. It's time for me to turn on the microphone because it's time for Second That Emotion.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And guys, I know I sang a ridiculous little jingle there. But before we talk basketball, I want to talk about everything happening with George Floyd. And just want to say like a little tiny bit of justice has been done. And it's not anywhere close to where we need to be. But the good news is that it happened. You know, it's not perfect, but like we said, it is justice, no matter how small it is.
Amen.
Yeah, so it's
no. I mean, the thing is there was a step in the right direction, but it's time to continue to listen, and any way that we can help and continue to take these right steps. That's the main important thing.
And so something I was reminded of on Twitter was how if it wasn't for the people protesting, it wasn't for the people calling for this to happen, this Derek Chauvin trial probably would never have happened. And so that's to say that, your voices can be heard and protesting does work. It does do its job.
Amen to that. You're right.
And so on that note, let's move on to a little bit of basketball, a little bit of fantasy basketball for you.
All righty. Well, excited to hear your starting lineup. So let's hear it.
Coming in at point guard, I'm picking Chris Paul. Now, if my brother's listening to this, he knows how much I hate Chris Paul. But look, it's not about love or hate. It's about the stats. Chris Paul is leading the Suns. He's killing it. They're winning games, which doesn't matter for this. But they're coming up against the Knicks and the Lakers. The Knicks and the Nets. Now, the Knicks defense is pretty good, but the Nets play zero defense. So, Chris Paul will do it points, assists, rebounds a little bit. He'll get it there for you. So, for your point guard, you got to do Chris Paul. At shooting guard, we have Anthony Edwards of the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves, haven't been a winning team, but an interesting stat that I heard about Anthony Edwards, he has the most 25-point games as a rookie since Kevin Durant, I believe,
Rare
which
air.
is yeah, rare, absolutely nuts. Over his last few games, he's been doing 27, 24, 12, 23, 28. The guy's a scoring machine. No matter if they get the win or the loss, Anthony Edwards is going to get buckets. Coming up, we got Harrison Barnes from the Sacramento Kings. And just like the Timberwolves, the Kings aren't always winning, but winning doesn't matter in fantasy. What matters in fantasy are the buckets, the rebounds, and the assists. And Harrison Barnes is going to do a little bit of everything for you. He's a very smart player. He's been in the league for a long time, won a championship with the Golden State Warriors. And as of late, 16, 18, 14, 24, and 20. He's coming up against the Warriors, the Mavs, and the Jazz. And in the Warriors and the Mavs, I could see him scoring a lot of points. So you got to pick up Harrison Barnes. At power forward, we got Julius Randle, folks. This is an easy pick. Julius Randle, the Knicks are on fire. A big part of that is Julius Randle and their defense. But we're talking about Julius Randle for right now. So last 5 games. Get ready for this, Danny. Get ready for this. Last 5 games. 34, 32, 44, 33, 16. Not as impressive at the end, but he's also getting you assists, getting you rebounds. The dude's going to kill it. And it's center. I've picked this guy multiple times. He's one of my favorites. It's Nikola Vucevic. That's right. Of the Bulls.
Okay.
And another team that doesn't win, but a guy that overperforms. I'm talking 29, 24, 25, 29. In his last 4 games. And 2 of those games came with 10-plus boards. They're coming up against the Heat, and the Hornets, and the Knicks. And so those games, he'll be able to dominate a lot, like he always does. And I got 2 pickup of the weeks.
2. I don't know if this has been a minute since we've had 2. This is going to be good.
So my 2 are both coming from the Charlotte Hornets. Charlotte Hornets are playing all right now. They're still in the playoff race, which is great for them. But you got Terry Rozier and Miles Bridges. Terry Rozier, Scary Terry, has been killing it. He's, I gotta read this game for you. All right, so in the last few games, he had 34 points, 10 assists, and 8 rebounds in one freaking game. Near triple-double, near 35 points. Absolutely incredible. And then Miles Bridges, not only does he have the highlight dunks, but he's got the points, he's got the rebounds, he's got the assists, a 14-rebound 3 assists, 15-point game. He had a 33.9 rebound game. The dude is killing it. Win or lose, these guys are helping the Hornets the best they can, and they're helping you in the box score. So that is my pickup and starting 5 of the week.
Dang, Mitchell Mack. That was a loaded starting 5.
That's right.
Yeah, I would say so. Well, this is not going to be easy to follow right now. That was very impressive.
And I made it very difficult for you on purpose.
Okay.
I set you up.
I see how it is. Well, hey, if you're playing fantasy, man, you may have to listen to this a couple times. Make sure you get all those names down, because it seems like they're going to get buckets.
Bucket.
And speaking of those that are just going to be slamming some baseballs over the wall. That was a terrible segue.
Hey, yeah, slamming those baseballs.
Speaking of buckets, I got my starting lineup. My starting baseball lineup here. I'm going back to Yadier Molina at catcher. Felt good with him last week. Feel even better with him this week. Heading into a great stretch to bring out the first month of baseball to a close. At first base, I have Vladimir Guerrero Jr. This kid is just raking all over the field. Second base, I have Adam Frazier. Third base, I have Justin Turner. Shortstop, I have Trey Turner. I just enjoyed that. Double Turner action.
Sounded pretty good.
I have Michael Brantley in the outfield, Tyler Naquin in the outfield, and Alex
Naquil.
Vertigo. Oh yeah, that is actually, but maybe
because he puts the other team to sleep. He's so good.
Oh, good old snooze fest in the outfield. And then, of course, Alex Vertigo in the outfield as well. At closer, I have a Cleveland Indian, Emmanuel Clase. He's like the most dominant, hard-throwing reliever right now in all of baseball. You got to pick him up as your closer. You got to start him if he's there. The Indians might not have every save opportunity in the season. They're 8-8, so half the time they're not even getting a chance to save the game. But when he does, he comes through.
Whew.
And then at my starting three for baseball's rotation, I have Shane Bieber, I have Corbin Burns, and Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta, by the way, totally coming back. I believe he's 2-1 or 3-1 with a 2.80 ERA, completely coming back as he made his way back to the Chicago Cubs. His career was kind of, some have maybe felt over, and he bounced all the way back. So props to him. And my pickup of the week is Aaron Savelli, another Cleveland Indian. Yes, I am hanging tight with my tribe. He is 3-0 with a 2.18 ERA, 16 strikeouts in 20 innings, guys. Those are some great numbers.
It's impressive stuff.
That's what I'm talking about. Well, that just about wraps up Second That Emotion. Mitchell Mack, it's been a fun show. Thank you so much.
Always has been, always will be, Denford. I thank you. I salute you.
Oh, I salute you right back. Until next time. Oh my goodness, guys. This show is on fire. So much fun stuff with Mitchell Mack. We're going to be heading right on over to Last Straw. Oh my goodness. Guys, you would not believe who came back to the studio. Welcome back to the show, Pete Davidson.
Yeah. Hey, Denny. Hey, man.
Oh my gosh, such a good surprise to see you, man. I'm so pumped to see you right now. Got so much stuff to talk about. The NFL draft. Are you excited next week?
Yeah.
Okay. What about Major League Baseball? You got the Mets, the Yankees. We're about 1 month into the season. Any takes?
Yeah, that's nice, I guess.
Right. Okay. Geez. What about you just hosted that really cool boxing showdown with Jake Paul? That was really cool, man.
Yeah. I'm trying to get a new house, and so they offered me like a lot of money. And you gotta understand, like, I hate Jake Paul so much. Like I know everyone hates Jake Paul because he's Jake Paul, but like I hate him so much, and I had to talk to his face. And that was like probably the worst thing I've ever had to do in my life. And so that was like really frustrating talking to that guy. And I just want to like smoke a lot of weed. Like I felt like that would have been much more fun for me.
Okay, you know what, Pete? It's been so much fun having
Denny.
you back.
Denny, I know where you're going with this, so
Yeah.
I'm actually gonna head out before you kick me out. I'm gonna try and like break up with you before you break up with me, like the way that Ariana Grande broke up with me before I broke up with her, but it's like in reverse now. It's like
No,
I'm winning.
Not gonna thank you next me. Oh my gosh.
I'm out of here, man. Bye, Denny.
Oh my goodness.
Probably never
guys.
see you again.
Wow, everybody. Like a candle in the wind. There goes Pete Davidson. Alrighty, guys. That was incredibly fun having Pete on. Even though he wanted to leave a little early, totally understand. He already knew how the game works that Denny thinks he knows. He could tell I was wrapping up and he got out. But hey, we always appreciate him stopping by and talking with us, even if it's a little bit about sports and a whole lot about other things. We're still appreciative. We still love it. Guys, my last straw this week is the seats at stadiums. Listen, my whole life I've always heard, well, sports is just entertainment. It's just entertainment. It's just entertainment. If it's just entertainment, then it should be like the movies, okay? The nice movie theaters, even the like kind of like the okay movie theaters that have like the old style seats still have cushion. I mean, now you got full on recliners at the movie theaters when we're able to go back, of course, and some, we're starting to shuffle in some theaters now. AMC, shout out AMC. But at the end of the day, if it's entertainment, let us be entertained. Let us relax a little bit if we want it. I mean, it should be an option. If you want to recline your seat or at least have cushions. No, we got plastic seats. Some of them are bleachers. Come on now. You know, all the sports, all the athletes in sports have been saying, "Oh, but the fans are so important. It's so important to see the fans back. They're such a big part of what we do." Well, if we really are, then we should be at least treated to comfy seats. Okay? If we're supposed to sit in these plastic seats or bleachers, then we're just as important as everyone on the field. And we should be paid. Instead of paying to go see players play, we should actually be paid or give us comfy seats. I don't think it's too bad of a, you know, of an ask here. Comfy seats, we actually get paid to participate. We play a big role in it. Home field advantage, it's because of us fans. It's because I'm losing my voice at these games, guys. I'm giving it everything I got. All right, that's last straw. I've had it with uncomfortable seats. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, thank you, Rachel. Thank you, Mitchell. What a great time with both of them on the show. Thank you, Pete Davidson. Until next time, guys, bring in those questions at glasserdenny@gmail.com, all social media platforms. And until next week, bye-bye.